Hello, it's Akash. I am with my new video on NEET time management. I myself was a student 3 years back. I appeared for NEET. I got 575, and now I am studying in MEMC. So it's my experience. So I hope you will learn from it and utilize it in your my exam days. So we know in NEET there are 180 questions. There are 180 questions, and the time is actually 3 hours. So 3 hours means 180 minutes, right? So in each question you will be getting 1 minute time to solve it. But we have to understand the subjects like physics have 45 questions, chemistry have 45 questions, biology have 90 questions. So for most of us we know the biology is easier and is less time consuming, but numericals in physics consumes a lot of time. So these 45 questions will be consuming more time than we can plan to devote them. Like we have to give more time in physics, but in case of biology 90 minutes is not necessary actually. So we have to plan our schedule such a way that we consume less time in biology, but we can give this time in physics. So now let's see at how will we approach. Our approach will be like 3 attempts, right? Sorry, 3 attempts at a maximum. At maximum we will give 3 attempts to a question, right? So first attempt will be of the longest time period, second attempt will be shorter, third will be much more shorter. This will be the first attempt will be for the easiest questions which you can solve in the first go. Second attempts will be for the time consuming questions and numericals that we will keep it for the second try. But third attempt will be for those questions we could not solve in our previous 2 attempts. So these will be the difficult most questions, right? Difficult questions. Now we will go through our first attempt. So how will be our first attempt? So our first attempt will be like, we will be giving 45 minutes. Let's talk, speak accordingly. Like biology, most of us will be preferring biology over others in the first few minutes. So I'll hope 40 minutes will be attempted to the biology, and we will not be marking the OMR during that time. So this 40 minutes is for the biology 90 questions, which we will mark like in the question paper. Like if it is the question number 1, we will be marking the answer. Let us assume B is the answer of it, and we know it, so we will mark it in the question paper. But OMR will be left empty for this time being. So in the first 40 minutes we will be solving the biology questions. Next 45 minutes will be given to chemistry or the physics. It is up to us which one we will be preferring, and the rest 50 will be given. Next 45 will be given to the physics or chemistry, whichever is left. Thus we are consuming almost 130 minutes, that is 2 hours 10 minutes. So we'll try to plot them. See, I have plotted this out. The first 40 is for the biology, so I write bio here. So first 40 will be for the bio, and we have not marked the OMR till that time, so OMR will be left empty. Next 45 will be for, let us assume, chemistry, and the next 45 minutes will be for the physics, right? So our first attempt through all these 3 subjects is given in the first 130 minutes, during which we have not marked the OMR at all. So like we have just marked, like for question number 1 we marked B, question number 2 we could not solve it, question number 3 we marked C, and again for question number 4 we could not solve it. Let us assume like this, a scenario like this. So in our first attempt of first 130 minutes we have given a first attempt. Now our second attempt starts, where we will be solving those questions which were left in the first attempt. So it will be an attempt. Second attempt will be of first attempt was of 130 minutes, second attempt will be of 30 minutes only, right? Here we will be solving those questions which are time consuming, so we left in the first attempt. So like questions like time consuming questions, which will have consumed more time, which are difficult in the first go but easy on the second go, will be solved in this time. But we have to remember that during this 30 minutes we will, or the second attempt, we will be marking the OMR too, because we cannot keep the marking of the OMR for the last few minutes. Maximum time people fail to mark the OMR, so we should not do such mistakes at all. So I prefer you to mark the OMR from 2 hour 10 minutes to 2 hour 40 minutes, right? So we will be marking the paper in this time as well as giving our second attempt. So during this time we will be marking the OMR as I am doing. We should speak the answers in our mind so that we do not do any mistake while marking the OMR. Most of the time we do the mistake of marking the OMR, and thus we not only lose 4 marks but also we get -1 mark. So thus we gain -5 marks out of the question where we could have solved the question. Thus our rank may go thousands behind our normal rank. So you have to remember this. So thus we have to mark like this. Like for question number 1, I marked B, so I will chant in my mind 1B and mark the OMR like this way. Okay. For the question number 2, I could not solve it in the first attempt, so I will give my second try to this question, and at this try, if I can solve it, I will mark the question here. Like let us assume D is the answer, so I mark D in the question paper, as well as I will give I'll mark it in the OMR. Okay, if I could solve it. Now again, you should remember we should fill the OMR carefully. Again, in case of the question number 3, if it is answer is C, we will chant in our mind 3C and then mark it 3C. But we have to be very fast in these things. We cannot waste our time. In case of question number 4, let us assume we could not solve it in the first try. We will try to solve it now. If we fail to solve it in the second attempt too, we will keep this question or put a mark before it, or rather we can write the question number behind the question paper, in the last page of the question paper, so that we can give the third attempt in this question. Okay, third attempt in this question, and thus we will leave the fourth question here in the OMR. So once we complete the marking of the OMR in these 30 minutes, or the second attempt, we will mark the whole OMR up to the 1 to 180 questions, and we will be left with some of the toughest questions whose numbers are either written in the back of the question paper or we have marked it out separately. So in the last 20 minutes of the paper, of 160 to 180 minutes, in these 20 minutes we will be trying to solve these few questions. And again we have to remember that we have to mark those questions. Like if a question have 4 options, okay, and you can rule out the questions, rule out the 2 options. So I will tell go with such questions in the last 20 minutes, because in the long run they will be helpful. I will be making another video on this, why should I mark this kind of questions, and I hope you will keep watching GNEET Akash videos. I hope this is clear to you that how to manage the time in the exams, big exams such as NEET.